Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Today I want to get away from all the news and stuff that's going on, and there's certainly a lot of that to talk about. Not just news, but things that are happening that are leading us down a path that you all know we shouldn't be going down. But I'm going to take a break from that and talk about something that I talk about often on here, and I do so because it's important, and I hope if I say it often enough that maybe some people will start to get it and try to do this in their area, and that is build some sort of community, a community connection. And of course, this is off the heels of our big expo that we had over the weekend, this last Thursday and Friday. And so I want to talk about that and how it started here, and maybe some ways that you can do it in your area, and then just why it's important. Before I get started, I want to mention a couple of the businesses that was at our expo, because I think it's just a good thing to give them a shout out. One was a t-shirt company, and I don't know if I'm standing on kind of the edge here of the creek. So here's one of their t-shirts. Company is called Sanctified Supply Co. I mentioned a t-shirt company yesterday in the video, and then this was another one that was this business that was there. And this is a local mom and pop business, husband and wife team, just like the other one that I mentioned. And this couple, they are just amazing. They're a really great couple. Enjoyed getting to know them over the few days that they were there. They were very helpful. And I would encourage you to go check them out. There will be a link in the description below to their website. They make t-shirts and hoodies and hats and tumblers and candles and probably a few stickers, a few other things. But it's a very faith-filled, whole Bible-believing business. And so I would encourage you to check them out. Another one that was there is MT Knives. MT Knives, Patrick that owns the business there. He makes some amazing knives. He's a knife maker, and he was also sharpening knives at the event. And this one here, this little neck knife that he made, it is pretty amazing. I actually like little knives. I have big hands, so you'd think of, I'd like big knives, but I have a thing for the small knives, and this one is quite amazing. He has been mentioned, his work has been mentioned by Wrangle Star and by Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs. And so I will also have a link to his business website down in the description below so that you can go check his work out. He makes some great products, and like I said, he was sharpening people's knives there, and he certainly knows what he's doing when it comes to sharpening knives. So go check out his business also. And I'm not getting anything out of this, and that's fine, because this is part of community. It's part of building that by helping each other out, sharing knowledge, sharing resources, to build that connection with each other. And I know every time I mention this, and I just want to get this out of the way, every time I mention this, a lot of people think that I'm talking about some kind of hippie commune on one piece of property. No, that's not what I'm saying. Now, there are many people that have enough land that they can somehow work it out, a lease deal or whatever, to where they share the property together and they work together. Each person has their own allotted space, and then they build some type of off-grid type community, and that's fine. I have nothing at all against that, but that's not what I'm talking about when I say community. Just having people around, and then the greater community, people that may live further away. One of the things that we talk about in our group is building a network of communities. At our meetings, it's not just kind of one community, it's a group of communities that come there. There are a few mag groups that regularly attend. Either one or all of the people attend our meetings. There are people that are connected with meetings, groups within their local area. Maybe they have some kind of homestead or prepper meeting in their area, and then they come to ours also. And so that's the beauty of what's going on here. And it's not just here that this is happening. This is happening in other places also. And with all the things that's going on in the world that we talk about all the time, okay, and the things that I don't even talk about, that other YouTube channels talk about, you get it from other resources online, hearing about all the reset of the world that we are going through. And we realize more and more every day, there's just constant confirmation that this lifestyle is becoming a necessity, and that probably one of the only ways to survive it all is because of this lifestyle, and because of the Son in your heart, the Father, Son in your heart. But being prepared and being self-sufficient is becoming more and more of a necessity. It's not just a hobby. It's not just something you do because there's bad weather and your power might go out. It's getting to the point, the realization is that it may be the only way to really survive through this and retain some semblance of freedom. And so that's why we push what we do. I get asked a lot, how did this start? How are you doing this? And a lot of people assume that because I have a YouTube channel that's growing, that is the root cause of it. That because I have a growing, decent size audience, I wouldn't say large, but a decent size audience, that's how it is. And most certainly there are people that come to the meetings just because of that. But it didn't start out that way. In fact, when I started hosting these meetings, I don't remember, I didn't have much of a YouTube presence, maybe 15,000, 20,000 subscribers, not a whole lot, at least in the YouTube world. And the very first meeting that we had, my family showed up and one other family showed up. And we sat on some park benches outside because it was a nice day, and we just talked, and that was the first meeting. And little by little, you know, it went from that to maybe 20 people, and then 40 people, and then 100 people. I remember the first time we broke 100, we thought that was a big deal. And then 200, and then 300. And now we average between 200 and 300 a month. One of the things that I want to encourage you, if you are considering at all of hosting some type of meeting to try to bring people together, is just do it. Don't think too much on it. Don't over plan it. And this is one of my weaknesses. I think something just came out of a tree, or maybe a limb fell. Anyways, the joys of doing videos out in nature and not a green screen. It's a weakness, and it's probably a benefit in both ways with me. Is I'm the kind of person that if I get the idea to do something, I just jump in. I jump in, and I figure it's better to make the attempt and fail than to not do it at all. And so in this instance of hosting meetings and trying to build community, I would encourage you to just do it, okay? Find a place to meet, even if it's a small building or if it's a small room, maybe libraries. I know a lot of local libraries have meeting rooms that you can rent out. Many times they're free. And just get a date nailed down and start putting out the word. And it's very possible that you'll be the only one there. But don't stop. Don't get discouraged. Just keep doing it. When you do get a meeting nailed down, and if you're wanting it to be a public, open to the public meeting, you can get a hold of me, send me an email, and I'll promote it. I'll let people know where it's at, when it's at, the area. I'll give them your contact information because people need to know. And what we're doing isn't radical. It's not some group of crazies that are, talking about, off the wall conspiracies and things like that. I've seen in the comments of my videos recently, and also over at Viking Preparedness, who was there. Pastor Joe Fox was at our meeting, and he did a video on it. There's people making comments that, yeah, it's probably just a bunch of crazies with guns running around and talking about awful things. Actually, that's not true at all. There were, I'm sure, several people that were carrying, but Missouri is a constitutional carry state. And so around here, a lot of people carry. They carry open and they carry concealed. It's just a way of life around here. So yeah, sure, there were people carrying, but were there crazies there? Were there talks of unusual off-the-wall conspiracies? I didn't hear any. What I did see was a lot of families coming together, families that have realized that what's going on in this world is not good, that we're not headed down a good path. Certainly not for any kind of long-term period. The economy is failing, the supply chain, everything, government, the talk and the possibilities of global engagements, world wars are becoming more and more likely. And a big thing for a lot of people is the absolute destruction of family and traditional values. And so they've realized that what we as a culture once had, which was that those small communities that stuck together. And then we did away with that. You know, we modernized, and all these industrial revolutions and modernization kind of destroyed all that, to the point that most people don't even know who their neighbors are. We've realized that, wow, we need what we once had. And so we're trying to rebuild that. And that's really what it is. That's all it is. The diversity was pretty widespread at our events, and it's that way in our meetings. And I'm not talking about just skin color diversity, that is true, but also just diversity of backgrounds and age and beliefs and walks of life. That people realize that this way of life is becoming more of a real necessity. And so I want to encourage everyone to do your best to try to make those connections. And I hear it all the time, every time I make one of these videos. I always get a lot of people that say, well, that's great for your area. I wish I lived there, but you know, there's no one in my area that thinks like I do. I beg to differ. I get emails all the time from people all over the country, and sometimes they're in some of the most liberal areas that you can imagine. Southern California, New York City, Chicago, Illinois, many other liberal areas of people that are lined up with the topics that we talk about on here, and they're looking for people. So don't think that there's no one out there like you. There is. You just have to make those connections. That is the difficult part. It is. And that's why I've always offered of using this platform that I'm on, the voice that I have here on YouTube, to help you along. That's part of community. It's part of community, is helping each other along. We don't always agree on everything. Sometimes it's kind of like a family. Sometimes you fight, sometimes you don't agree, but you're always there for each other in times of need. And that's some of the things that we're doing. You know, this I've mentioned before, but at least before this expo that we had, that I hoped that this expo would turn into something of a sort of a open air market in the future, you know, because as we get closer to those days of digital currencies and digital IDs that are required to make purchases and transact, it will get to a point that gray markets and black markets are going to be a necessity for a lot of people, because a lot of us are just not going to bow down and get their mark and their digital stamp. And so the hopes of this event is to try to create a place where people can come together on a regular basis and do some you know, open air markets. We also learn from each other. That's the biggest thing. The networking that we do, and the getting to know each other and building those relationships is really the most important thing about meetings. It's the most important thing about coming together. I've been in the past, I've been to many other preparedness type meetings. I've even tried to host a few in the past. The ones that I've hosted ended up being unsuccessful, and many of the ones that I've gone to ended up being unsuccessful. And what I found is that it's kind of like we had the cart before the horse. What we were doing is we were trying to create a meeting of people to do training, create a meeting of creating mags, creating some type of security group, a group that would come together and offer security for each other if things got bad, or whatever that is. Instead, when I say cart before the horse, what we should be working on and focusing on is just building a community of people of like mind, getting to know each other, building those relationships. Because when we do that, when we build those relationships and we have a personal connection with people where they're not just really friends, it's almost like they're family, and then in fact they become family. When we get to that point, going out and defending what we have, is going to become very easy. And the desire to learn how to defend, or the desire to learn how to build gardens together, or the desire to go out and help each other, repair a roof, or, build a chicken house or something like that, is going to become a lot easier, because we'll want to. We work as a family. We have that love for each other, that love for our brothers and sisters, because we're family. And so that's what we're trying to do here, is focus on that. And as we focus on that, and people come together and they build those kind of intimate level relationships, where we view each other as family, we will be more inclined, and we are. I mean, more and more. It's not even something I have to bring up. More and more people are saying, hey, we need to schedule a training event. We need to go out and help this family. They're struggling with getting their garden in, or, we need to work on, a seed bank, or community this or community that. And people are more inclined to do it. And when they come to these events, it's like a big family gathering. And that's another big point that I want to emphasize on when you plan your event. Don't make it too structured. Don't make it too organized and too professional, okay? Make it like a family get-together. We have time before and after the official meeting for people to just sit around and get to know each other. And during that official meeting time, that's when we have speakers, or we do demonstrations, or we do training. But the before and after is just times for people to eat, sit around, get to know each other. Kids are running around and playing. And that is the part where we start to come together as a community. We get to know each other, and people look forward to it. The kids look forward to it. The young adults look forward to it. The middle-aged, the elderly, they all look forward to it every month, because of that feeling, that connected, that family. When people aren't able to come to our meetings, often I get phone calls or emails, saying, hey, I'm sorry we're not able to come. I'm really going to miss it. We just really enjoy it, but something's come up and we're not able to be there this month. And I believe it's a very genuine statement from people. They really enjoy it. So this is something that you can be doing in your area, okay? Don't think that you can't. And again, I want to encourage you to just do it, to just get out there. Maybe you can't find a building. Maybe there's a park that has pavilions. I've done them in those before. Weather's getting nice in most of the country, and you try to plan around weather and stuff, but schedule a time to meet at a local city park where there's a pavilion, and promote it in your areas. I'll promote it on here, and you never know, it will very likely open doors so that later on you can find the right facility to meet at. But don't get discouraged. Don't overplan. Don't think that you just can't do it, that no one would show up. That is a good chance no one's going to show up, but you have to stay at it. And as you stay at it, it will start to come together. And that's what our goal is, folks. Our goal is to make those connections so that as the world starts to fall apart more and more every day, we have more and more of our brothers and sisters to kind of help us out and lean on, and together, that unity, that strength in numbers, we will be able to get through this, folks. All right, folks, thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.